So we want to use implicit differentiation to find the second derivative, d2y dx squared. Then there's one thing that's really different from any other differentiation that we do, and that is after we take the first derivative, then we'll go ahead and start taking the second derivative, and we'll end up with a dy dx in it somewhere, and we'll always want to substitute the first derivative into that part. So let's take a look at the first one here. 1 minus xy equals x minus y. If we differentiate 1, we get 0. So I'm going to leave a negative out front and do a product rule with my x and y. So we've got the first derivative of the second plus the second derivative of the first equals derivative of x is 1 minus the derivative of y is 1 and then dy dx. All right, let's solve for dy dx. Distribute the negative. And then we want to bring the dy's together and move everything else to the other side. So I'll be adding the y over to the right side. So let's see, over on the left side I'm going to have negative x dy dx. I'm going to add the dy dx from the right side. And that's going to equal, add the y over, we get y plus 1. Factor out a dy dx. And we have negative x plus 1 and now we want to divide by the negative x plus 1. I think I'm going to rearrange those two to have the derivative equal to y plus 1 over, and I think I'll make it 1 minus x. Okay, now we want to take the second derivative. It's going to be d2y over dx squared. That's the notation that we use. It looks strange, but basically if you think of it this way, you're taking the derivative, the second derivative with respect to x of something, and that something is the y. Okay, let's get rid of those. There we go. Okay, so this time it's going to be a quotient rule. So I'm going to start with the bottom, 1 minus x, derivative of the top, which is just dy dx, minus top, times the derivative of the bottom, which is negative 1, all over the bottom squared. And maybe Mr. Lloyd taught you low d high minus high d low all over low low. But if he didn't, you'll hear me say that once I get there probably. Okay, so let's start cleaning this thing up. I'm going to substitute this dy dx right there, and I'm also going to distribute this negative 1, or actually combine it with the negative out front. So we have 1 minus x times the quantity y plus 1 over 1 minus x, and that's real nice because we can see here that the 1 minus x is actually going to cancel. And then I'm going to change this sign to a plus because negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1, and then remove the parentheses because they don't mean anything now for the y plus 1. And that's going to be over 1 minus x, the quantity squared. Okay, so these two cancel. And we are left with y plus 1 plus y plus 1 over 1 minus x, the quantity squared. Then let's combine like terms up top. We get 2y plus 2 over 1 minus x, the quantity squared. And that is the second derivative. Okay, so at this point, again, we're going to pause the video. I'm going to let you try number 2, which is xy plus 4 equals x squared. So go ahead and pause, and I'll be back in a minute to show you how to do it. All right, we'll start off with the product rule. So that's the first derivative of the second plus the second derivative of the first. And then we have plus 4, and because that's a constant, it's going to be 0. And then we have the derivative of x squared is 2x. Okay, I'm going to subtract the y. So that's going to be 2x minus y on the right side, and divide everything by x. Okay, so that's the first derivative. Kind of easy to take or to find, not too many steps. And now I want to take the second derivative. Again, we're going to have a quotient rule. So d2y dx squared equals bottom. Derivative of the top is going to be, the derivative of 2x is 2 minus the derivative of y is 1 dy dx minus the top times the derivative of the bottom, all over the bottom squared. All right, step number 1, I want to go ahead and replace the derivative, the first derivative, with what it's equal to. So we get x times 2 minus the quantity 2x minus y over x minus, I'm going to go ahead and distribute the negative and get negative 2x, and then a negative makes it positive y, all over x squared. Okay, what I see now is that I actually want to go ahead and distribute this x to each of these because it's going to cancel this x down here, which is kind of nice. So we get 2x minus the quantity. Be careful because the negative is not upstairs with the 2x. It is out front of the entire fraction, so we'll have to distribute it through. So the x's cancel, but we end up with 2x minus y there. And then minus 2x plus y all over x squared. Distribute the negative. Okay, now the two x's are going to go away. And combining like terms, we're going to get, let's see, we've got y and y is 2y minus 2x all over x squared. And that is our second derivative. Hopefully you got it right. All right, guys, have a great weekend.